What's going on, guys? Justin Florio from Patience and Consistency, and today I want to bring you something that you can do from your own home, something that will make you feel better. Grab a lacrosse ball, baseball, tennis ball, golf ball with me, and get after it. I'm going to start on one side. So you have your shin bone right here. I want to keep it pretty basic. And then there's this muscle that runs right along the side of it. And I want to set up right underneath the knee, so we're not using the knee, and right on the outside of the shins. And I want to just run. We're going to do 2 or 3 passes. You can do more if it feels better, but I just want to run all the way down to the ankle. Focus on taking a nice deep breath. If you find a tender spot, you can sit there and try to sit down on it. And focus on breathing, because that'll help relax everything and help you sink into it a little bit more. I'm just going to do 2 passes on this side, and then I want you to do the same thing on the other side. We'll grab onto that lacrosse ball, start right underneath the knee. You'll feel when you're in the right spot. If you're on the bone, it will not feel comfortable at all. And I want you to just ride all the way down to the ankle. See, that's a tender spot for me right now. And then I'm gonna work my way all the way back up to the knee, find a tender spot, play around with your hand positioning. That'll help take away some pressure. And then if you find a tight spot, just focus on breathing. In through the nose, slow breath out of the mouth, and just let your body sink into it. I'm gonna go up and down one more time. Just a fair warning, I did run through this already, but I just wanted to make a video for you, especially for my online clients, so that this way you have an idea on how to go about this. So after the shins, from there, I'm gonna go into my glutes now. This is a great movement that you can do if you maybe have sciatica issues. I know low back, and then you're like, why am I putting this on my butt if my low back bothers me? But everything's connected. I want you to remember that. So with the ball here, it's not in the middle of my butt, it's on the outside of my butt. And I'm just trying to roll around a little bit. I'm trying to find a tender spot, usually up in that top corner, and on the outside, that's where you get the most. If you're not feeling a lot, what you can do, as I said before, with hand positioning, you can try to bring your foot up on top of your knee and then just try to play around there, because that's going to put you into a stretch and give you a little bit more ability to find that tight area. I want to play around. Again, like I said before, slow it down. I just wanted to get this into a video in a shorter period of time. You can focus on areas more. Sometimes one area will be tighter than the other. I'll do the same thing. I'll just focus on just trying to find an area. Again, that top outside area for me is the tightest. Everyone's going to be different. I don't even have to do the figure 4 on this side. It's just so tight. So that's one. And now I'm going to show you my favorite one. Ideally, if you have like a couch, this will feel a lot better. You put your feet up onto a couch, and there's muscle that runs alongside of your spine, and it's called your erector. So I want you to put it right there. It shouldn't be super low. I've come to find that not everyone feels it there, but right past, like your hip is here, up a little bit, and right after that one point, you'll feel this big piece of fascia. It's called your erector, and I just want you to ride yourself back and forth on it. Almost think like horizontal motions up and down, and then you can slowly, either using your elbows or your heels, and slowly work your way up your back. These muscle groups start to get really tight, and I just want you to focus on breathing and try to dig in, and we'll try to work our way up. We're not going to go too high. We're not going up to the shoulder blades. Just going up to about mid-back here, okay? Up and down, horizontals. And then we'll do the same thing. Again, if you can get your feet up elevated on this, it'll definitely feel better. Just a quick fair warning, in about 20 seconds, you're going to hear a beep, and I apologize for that. Again, horizontal motions up and down. This area doesn't feel bad, so I'll work my way up. And if you don't feel something or it doesn't feel comfortable, don't ever just try to force it because you're watching me do it. Every single 2, 1, beep. Good. It's just a timer. Everybody's so different. Everyone's fascia is made up differently. Everyone works differently, so different muscle groups are going to be tighter than others, okay? Again, horizontal. I like to spend about 30 seconds to a minute on each side. That's the spot right there. You're seeing I'm taking that deep breath. And it's so amazing how when you take that deep breath out, it just sinks a little bit more. All right, so from here, that feels good. I want to get into my lats, especially like all the overhead that we do. So you're gonna lie down on your side. I want you to take the lacrosse ball. You're not putting it in your armpit, but right on the outside of your armpit. You can see my face. I already found the trigger point. This will definitely help with overhead range of motion. We tend to get really tight. Play around with your positioning. Try to lean back, put some weight into it. See if you can find that jabbing spot. This before, like I mentioned, if you're losing feeling in your limbs, I wouldn't do this. I would definitely change it up. Work your way down. You don't want to go on your rib cage. You'll know when you're on your rib cage. You'll know the difference between rib cage and muscle. But just try to play around. You can wear either sweatpants, especially for the shins, that area, because when the ball is on your actual skin, it doesn't feel the greatest. So we'll switch over. And then for this area right here, I would suggest maybe wearing a sweatshirt, because a sweatshirt will help kind of, it'll give you a little bit more absorption. So again, right underneath the armpit, set up, like your hands up, and just try to find that trigger point. You can tell that this is a really tight area for me. I try to focus on breathing and try to find that point, pinpoint it, zigzag if you can. Really feel good. I'm only going to do 2 more. If you like this video, you can definitely give me a comment. This one, you have 2 options. I find on the floor it's a lot easier, but I'm going to get into my traps here, and I'm just putting the ball underneath, not my neck, but then also that runs into your neck, right over your shoulder. And I want you to just zigzag back and forth, and then we're slowly gonna work our way kind of into the neck, but not on the spine. I had a quick camera malfunction, so I might be in a different positioning, but all you're gonna do, again, you don't want to put the ball on your spine. We're gonna get into the trap. You'll notice I try to lift my butt up a little bit just to get a little bit more pressure inside of there. I'm not underneath my neck, I'm over my shoulder. And then I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side, just so we don't feel lopsided. Even if this side you don't feel it as much, you can even try to play around with some hand positioning. That's a little bit more advanced. So let's just focus and try to drive that ball into your trap, play around with positioning, try to find a tight spot. This again could very well be a speed bump area. The reasoning for these traps to be so tight is because of everything that's happened over the last few years with everything online, working at home, working on the computer. That tends to get really tight. And I have my camera angled down here. Take the lacrosse ball, everyone's feet get really tight, and just work your way back and forth. Play around with it depending on the shoes you're wearing, depending on how you're working out, the running that you're doing, whatever cardio you're doing. These can get really tight. So focus, again, 30 seconds, a minute on each side. And there you have it. That's how you can use a lacrosse ball. If you don't have a foam roller, don't go out and spend the money if you don't have it. This is a great thing that you can do on your own at home, and it'll just make you feel better. Maybe after doing this, you start to get a little bit of blood flow and you want to start to advance into some exercises, and then eventually that'll turn into a really good workout. But it's okay to have days where you don't exercise, and it's okay to have days where you focus on making yourself more mobile and flexy, like Gumby. All right? Hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day, and I will see you guys next time.